Welcome to Weekday Somatics. So today we're going to start by sitting, if that's something that you can do. And if you're not comfortable sitting, then I'll give you an alternative that you can do from a lying on your back. So you may do this sitting in a chair, you may do it sitting on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, then have your, if possible, have your feet on the floor. If possible, don't cross the legs, just have them both on the floor. And we'll take a moment to start to visualize or imagine or open to the possibility or intend to have awareness of our connection to the earth. If it's comfortable for you to do so with your eyes closed, then you may close them. And if you prefer to keep the eyes open, that's okay. So begin by noticing your body. Become aware of your whole body. And become aware of the contact of your body with the surface that you are on. Whether you think that you're able to feel it or not, you can be aware of it. So just be aware, have the intention, and then become aware that this surface that you are on is supporting you. So make a conscious choice to surrender to that support, because this is truly supporting you, so you don't need to make unnecessary effort. Much of the time we're making unnecessary effort. We don't recognize it consciously, but if we take this time like we are right now to become aware, to notice, then we can start to notice how much unnecessary effort we're making. And we might start to wonder what the effects of that unnecessary effort might be. Perhaps some of the things that we perceive to be problems in our life are in fact nothing more than unnecessary effort that we've been unaware of. So by becoming aware and by choosing to surrender and release that unnecessary effort to receive the support that's literally here. We don't have to imagine it. It's literally here. We're resting on it. We free up a great deal of energy, and we free ourselves from the chronic strain of trying to make sense of the sensation, to make sense of the experience that we're having. So a great deal of unnecessary effort actually is not even the muscular or soft tissue effort or the effort of tension, but it's actually the chronic effort to make sense of the experience that we're having, trying to provide a context for it. And if we're not clear on what the experience is, then we invent all kinds of usually negative meanings for it. Anxiety, anger, impatience, pain, fatigue, etc. So this is a really powerful thing, just to become aware of the unnecessary effort. And specifically here, it's the unnecessary effort as it relates to the support that's here. So our bodies are resting. Our bodies are supported by the surface that we're on. And we can become aware of that contact, and we can become aware of how we're making unnecessary effort, gripping, armoring. And that unnecessary effort, it can be directly perceived in the contact, but it also extends through the whole body. So begin to be aware of any habit of holding the breath, or any habit of exaggerated breath. Become aware of any unnecessary effort in the face or in the interior of the head or mouth. So become aware of the tongue. Tongue can be relaxed here. And now become aware of that connection to the earth, and become aware that you on all levels are connected to the earth. Your body is of the earth. It came from the earth. It will return to the earth. And every moment of our lives, we are in this field of the earth's energetic field. And we can ignore that or deny that, attempt to cut ourselves off from that to our own peril, or we can, as we are doing now, consciously choose to acknowledge that connection. So consciously acknowledge that connection, and it doesn't matter what experience you're having. It's a good experience, it's fine. So you don't have to have some particular experience. You don't have to have a particular sensation or a particular visualization or a particular thought or anything. It's perfectly fine if you think nothing is happening, or if you think that you're unable to do it, or whatever the case may be. Just know that your intention is enough. And the more that you are willing to explore this with this intention, over time, you will perceive it more and more clearly, because it's an actual real experience. It's not an imaginary experience. It's not something made up by you. It's a real experience that you can acknowledge and become increasingly aware of. So some of you may perceive the connection energetically. You may feel that connection. You may feel energetic sensations, heaviness, movement, warmth, coolness, tingling, etc. You may not experience any of those things, and that's totally fine too. But just be aware of whatever experience you are having. So be aware of the sensations. Be aware of the images that may surface. And don't give any particular importance to any of it, but just allow it all, trusting that it is good and exactly right. Now, become aware of that connection all the way down to the core of the earth so that you can sense your deep connection with the earth and all that the earth offers, the fertility, the abundance, the stability. And become aware that this relationship, this connection that you have inherently with the earth is a two-way connection. So you can effortlessly send whatever you desire or wish to down to the earth. And you can also receive from the earth. And in fact, both are necessary. So most of us will find that one is easier than the other. Some will find that both are challenging. And if you find that, first of all, if you find that it's very easy, good for you. But if you find it challenging in any respect, then don't dismay, instead celebrate, because this connection is essential for your earthly well-being, for your vitality in human form, for your creative expression and fulfillment on this earth, for you to express your true purpose here. And so anything that obstructs either the sending or the receiving is an obstacle to your complete fulfillment. And so having that discovery, that insight, is very powerful. So give thanks if you find that there's any challenge. Be grateful for that, because in the seeing and the recognition of that, you've taken the first essential step in the healing of that, so that you can claim your birthright of connection, abundance, nurturance, prosperity, stability, so that you can share your unique gifts and fulfill your purpose. So if you experience any challenges, then just be aware of what those challenges are. So the challenges have various aspects to them, and you can become aware of those. So for example, you can be aware of the accompanying thoughts. So I've talked about these constellations. We want to become aware of whatever parts and pieces of the constellations we can. And in that awareness of the parts and pieces of the constellations, we're consciously directing the dissolution of those constellations so that they no longer are obstacles to our fulfillment. So be aware if you have any challenge sending. What are the thoughts that accompany that? Some of us might have thoughts of, I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I'm disgusting. There's something wrong with me. I'm bad. I'm shameful. It's wrong. I'm a burden. I have to do it myself. Whatever the thoughts might be, just become aware of them Be aware of any images or memories that might surface in association with any challenge that you might experience. And see that all of the thoughts and the memories and the sensations, the energetic experience, all of these parts and pieces, when we really take a look at them, we can see that they don't actually signify what we thought they did. So then ask yourself, am I ready and willing to dissolve this, to release this? And if so, then just choose, intend that, and trust that that is taking place. And then just allow for the stuck, unwanted, difficult, painful, or otherwise challenging experience to be released as an offering of love and gratitude to the earth. So perceive that, allow that to descend and flow into the earth as an offering of gratitude. And then if you notice that you have any challenge in receiving, then we can do the same process here. Be aware of the thoughts, memories, images, sensations, and so forth that surface as you intend, or at least begin to explore the possibility of receiving through this connection to the earth. Whatever those might be. I'm not able to. I have to get it right for it to work. I have to see it the right way. I have to have the right feeling. I'm not able to do that. I'm not worthy of receiving. I'm afraid of receiving. Whatever the thoughts might be, just be aware of them. Be aware of the images and the memories and the sensations. And then ask yourself, am I ready and willing to dissolve and release these limitations, these obstacles to my true fulfillment of my true purpose here? Am I willing to open to receiving through this connection to the earth? And if the answer is yes, then just know that that is taking place. You don't have to have a particular experience. Just trust that your intention, your willingness is enough. And just allow yourself to receive without an expectation of what that should feel like or look like or what the experience should be. Just be open to it. So now let's take a few moments to breathe and maintain awareness of this connection with the earth. So let the breath, just be aware of the breath, and don't try and control or force the breath, but be very aware of the breath. And let the breath be as gentle and natural and satisfying and non-forced as possible. So it's a lot. Don't have concern that you're not doing it good enough, because you certainly are. Wherever you are right now, whatever your starting point is, that's the perfect place to be. Don't try and make the breath bigger or smaller or deeper or shallower or here or there. Just allow it to be, and just let it be gentle. Let it be natural. Let the exhalation be satisfying and complete without it being strenuous. So no force, no pushing, no strain, but do let it be satisfyingly complete. And let the inhalation be as smooth and pleasurable and gentle as possible. So if you notice any spasms or gasping, just be aware of that and know that you can be gentler. And as if that wasn't enough to be aware of, maintain your awareness of this connection to the earth as you're breathing in this way, and become aware of how you experience your connection with the earth in coordination with the breath. So just notice if the breath and the connection to the earth, the flow of that experience, seem to have any kind of rhythmic relationship for you. So there's not a right answer, just for you. Just be curious about that and observe for a few more breaths. So we're going to now consciously conclude the specific grounding practice. And to do so, just again, be aware of that connection, perceive, or at least be willing to perceive, be open to that, or intend to have awareness of that connection all the way to the core of the earth, so that you and the earth are one. Not the same, but one. And then give thanks for that connection. Just send your gratitude. And again, your intention is enough. You don't have to have a particular experience of it. And then intend that you will consciously maintain this connection through the next 24 hours. And then be aware of the sensations in your body. Notice whatever you notice. And you can gently rub your palms together. And if you wish to keep the eyes closed, you may do so. If you wish to open the eyes, for this next portion, in which we're going to do a little bit of somatic movement, then you may open them. And if you do so, just open them slowly and with awareness. So when you're ready, what we'll do is bring one hand to the base of the throat. So right at the top of the breastbone. So there's an indentation there, at least for most people. Maybe depends if you're really tight and armored there, you might not be able to feel it. But you want to put your fingers there of one of your hands. So not so you're choking yourself, but so that you can feel that indentation if possible. And then take the other hand and place it on the breastbone, let's say 2 to 3 inches below, and just gently let the fingers of that hand just gently, very gently, not to an extreme, but just gently pull down. So one hand is remaining here at the top of the breastbone, and the other hand is a few inches below, and that one's just gently pulling down. So we're going to maintain those two hands like that. So make sure it's going to be comfortable for at least a few minutes. And then take a few breaths, and with each breath, just allow for whatever armoring or hardness that you become aware of through this, just the hand placement, to soften. And for those who are, I mean, all of you who are here live, I think you're participating in the Bliss Techniques program. So if you wish, you can use the new statement that we introduced yesterday, if you find that to be helpful. Just a few more breaths. Now be aware of the connection of the sensation that you experience under the fingers here, all the way up into the head. So you might perceive it in the throat, you might perceive it in the ears, you might perceive it in the jaw, you might perceive it in the back of the head, any of those places, because they're all connected. And keeping the hands here, again, the one hand gently pulling down, very slowly make a small movement of the head up. Don't exaggerate it, because I don't want anybody passing out because they flung their head back, but just slightly up. And let all of the tissue that you're sensing under the fingers lengthen and soften with your intention. And then, maintaining that softness and length, slowly bring the head back to a neutral position. So again, it's a small movement. Do not exaggerate it. Let's do that 2 more times at your own pace. So keeping the fingers where they are. And if this becomes fatiguing for you, then you take a rest, or you can switch the hands around if that's helpful. So don't keep doing it if it's too strenuous for you. You can always take a rest. So really be aware of the tissue state, what you're sensing under the fingers. You should be starting to feel with each movement, you should feel this softening and lengthening. So many of us hold a lot of tension here, a lot of armoring. We're afraid to express ourselves. Okay, and then if you need to take a break, you can rest for a moment. Anybody who is ready to proceed will keep the hands here again. And this time we're going to drop the chin toward that indentation. So we're keeping the neck long in back, dropping the chin. And then lifting to neutral. So we'll do that a few more times. So dropping the chin, keeping the back of the neck long. And here again, you should be noticing, be aware of the tissue state under the fingers. The whole chest is typically very armored. So this whole, you should feel all of this lengthening and softening. You don't need a big movement. The movement is really secondary. Your awareness is what matters. Okay, so then we'll do one more round of each combined. So this time, for anybody who wishes to, if you don't wish to, don't. Just take a rest, and that's perfectly fine. But anybody who wishes to will first look up gently, allow for this to lengthen and soften. You might notice your fingers can get in there more now. If so, and you're comfortable pushing them in a little bit, no, don't choke yourself. But if you're comfortable, you'll find that there's quite a lot of softness in there, and it's perfectly safe as long as you're gentle. And then to neutral. And then chin down. And neutral. So I said round, I mean, we'll do 3 of those, so 2 more. So really consciously be aware, both inwardly and externally, of the sensations and allow that release. Let the throat release, let the chest release. Okay, and when you're ready, you can release the hands. And then just take a moment to allow that experience to integrate. So most likely, you will notice a significant difference in the sensation and your perception of this area. And so really consciously allow that to integrate. Don't make any unnecessary adjustments or movements, because those would just be trying to get back to the old way. And now we're going to do one more thing today. So if it's comfortable for you to close the eyes, if they're not already closed, then please do so. And become aware of the breath. And let the breath be natural, uncontrolled, but let it be complete and not interfered with by the habits of holding the breath or turning the breath at unnatural or unnecessary points. So let the out breath be complete without force, and let the in breath be complete without force or exaggeration. And you should find that the breath naturally becomes gentler and smoother and naturally elongates. So don't ever force anything. If you find yourself having air hunger or gasping for air, it just means you're straining too much, so do less. Let it be gentler. So if possible, breathe through the nose. And then what we're going to do is we're going to inhale through the nose. I'm going to describe it first and then we'll do it together. So we're going to inhale through the nose and then we're going to exhale through the mouth using the same natural breath, so it won't be forced. But we'll just introduce this small change of inhaling through the nose and then exhaling through the mouth. And what we're going to do is we're going to visualize or imagine or intend certain colors of light in regions of our body. So I'm going to direct that, I'll guide that. So first become aware of the lungs. So hopefully you know where the lungs are. You have one on the right side and one on the left side of the chest. So become aware of the lungs, and then on your next inhalation, visualize or intend that the lungs are gently drawing a pure white light into them so that they are saturated with a pure white light. And then on the next exhalation, exhaling through the mouth, imagine or intend that you're exhaling any darkness from the lungs and allow that to go directly into the earth, where it is transformed by the earth. So we'll do that for three breaths. So we're inhaling, imagining or intending pure white light saturating the lungs, and then exhaling through the mouth, allowing any darkness or residue, or however you want to imagine it, poisons from the lungs to be exhaled and then to go into the earth, where it's an offering to the earth, and the earth transforms it into something beautiful and nourishing. So the lungs begin to glow with this radiant, pure white light that remains. Next, become aware of the kidneys. So the kidneys are on the back side of your torso, on the lower back. There are two, one on the right and one on the left. And even in the event that someone may have had a kidney removed, you may still do this for both kidneys because energetically they both are there. So imagine or intend to direct your awareness to the kidneys. And we'll do the same basic process this time for the kidneys, and instead of a white light, it will be a blue light. So imagine a deep healing blue. And as you inhale, the kidneys are filled and saturated with this healing blue light. And as you exhale all of the darkness, the toxins, the waste from the kidneys, so that the kidneys remain with this pure healing blue light. So we'll do that for 3 breaths. Next, become aware of the liver. So the liver is on the right side of the upper right side of your abdomen. And for the liver, we will imagine an emerald green light, an emerald green light. As we inhale, the liver is filled and saturated with this healing emerald green light. And then as we exhale through the mouth, we exhale any darkness or toxins from the liver. So we'll do that 3 times. Next, we'll bring our attention to the heart. And for the heart, imagine a ruby red light. If you find that too stimulating, you can adjust that to be a paler or lighter color. So we'll do for 3 breaths, drawing that healing red light to the heart, and then exhaling through the mouth any of the dark spots, the toxins, the poisons from the heart, and allowing those to descend into the earth where they're transformed. And then we will bring our attention to the spleen, which is behind the stomach. So on the upper left portion of the abdomen, bring your awareness there and intend to fill this area with a beautiful healing yellow light. So as you inhale, the spleen is filled with a yellow healing light. And as you exhale any dark spots or toxins that go into the earth and are transformed. And we'll do that for 3 breaths. Again, if it's comfortable for you to do so, then slowly rub your palms together. And then if you're comfortable doing so, bring the palms together in a prayer position at the heart. And we'll just take 3 gentle, natural breaths at your own pace, completely unforced. And on the exhalation of each breath, intend to send blessings to this world at all levels. Blessings to all the people, blessings to yourself, blessings to your home, blessings to your town or city, blessings to your government and all governments everywhere, blessings to this earth, blessings to the animals, blessings to the water, blessings to all of the plants, blessings to the rocks, and take a moment then to give thanks for the abundance in your life, that ceaseless flow of abundance that is your nature, that ceaseless flow of abundance from the earth. And again, be aware of your whole body. You can slowly release your hands to come to rest and slowly wiggle your fingers to reacquaint yourself with that kind of movement. And if you need to take another moment to prepare yourself to slowly open the eyes, then do whatever you need. Take that time. And for anybody who feels ready to do so, you may slowly begin to open the eyes. Do so very slowly with awareness so that you can integrate this experience. So today this was very, very gentle. I don't anticipate that anybody should be overstimulated. It was very nourishing exploration. Of course, if anybody does experience any overstimulation now or later, then remember the guidelines that I often talk about. They're, it's easy to trivialize and dismiss and ignore them, but you'll do yourself a favor if you don't. If you take them to heart, you'll find that your life can be smoother. You can integrate things more easily. You'll be tapping into a greater power, and so remember those guidelines that I often give just as a reminder. Hey, make sure you're being gentle. That's really, honestly, the most important thing: gentleness and nourishment. Nourish yourself and be gentle with yourself. Forgive yourself. It's another really important thing. We all make mistakes. We all have made many mistakes. We've all hurt ourselves and hurt others. And through these explorations, we come to see that in a new way. And that's part of the healing process. So before, we were ignoring, we were in denial. We thought our problems were pain problems or injury problems or digestive problems or financial problems or anger problems or whatever we thought the problem was. And through the explorations, what we discover is that actually the problem was that we were hardened, cynical, in denial, rejecting, denying ourselves and others love and acceptance and forgiveness. And turns out that real healing, really true lasting healing, it really does depend on those things. It really comes down to that. None of these physical bodies will last forever, so that our purpose in this life is not physical immortality. Our purpose is to love and forgive. And so it's difficult and challenging and painful to see some of these things, to see our own mistakes, to see the effects of those mistakes, to see how we've hurt ourselves and others. But when you see these things, be grateful rather than dismaying, because you're seeing something that's been there all along. And the seeing is the healing. It's at least the first step of the healing. The first step is seeing, and the second step is the forgiveness, which your intention to forgive, with all these things, your intention is adequate. You don't have to have some big experience for it to be a true healing. You can forgive with intention. Just have that intention. I choose to forgive. I choose to forgive myself. I choose to forgive the others. May we all be blessed. May we all receive our abundant goodness that is our birthright. May we all be expressed in true ways. May we all express our true purpose. And forgive yourself, forgive others. So those are all really important. Take a moment to bless your food and bless your body each time you eat. It seems like a small thing. It is a small thing, but it will make a big difference. And that's the beauty of it. If you're needing to take a nap and you have the luxury to do so, offer yourself that. If you're feeling overstimulated, oftentimes a bath or a shower can be helpful. Some and nourishing food is always important, because if we don't, our food is earth, and our food is earth. And if we are not eating enough, not getting enough nourishment, then we'll be ungrounded. We're not going to feel well. It will be harder. Everything will be harder for us. And we don't want it to be harder. There's no benefit in it being harder. It's better if it's smoother, because then we can do it. Smooth and sustainable is good. So hopefully those are guidelines that you can, that make sense to you, that you can make use of. We're not going to have a Q&A today. My wife has an appointment, so last minute announcement. And that's it for today. So thank you all for being here. I really, really very much appreciate and love all of you. And I will see you tomorrow. And also anybody who needs, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, don't try to endure. Okay, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.